Okay, so we've all seen lightning, right? That raw, incredible flash of power in the sky. But have you ever stopped to think about it? Like a story, with a real beginning, a middle, and an end? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to deconstruct the blueprint for capturing the cinematic soul of lightning, breaking it all down, act by act.
And that's really the core question, isn't it? Because lightning, it's not just some random burst of energy. If you're a storyteller, you see it as a form of communication. It's the spectacular event that has its own narrative arc. So the real trick is, how do you translate that language? Visually.
So the mission here is super clear, and it's built on three pillars. First, it has to be cinematic, right? It's got to grab your emotions like a great movie. Second, educational. It needs to feed our curiosity. And finally, it has to be awe-inspiring. Leave us with that feeling of wonder. Every single choice we're about to look at is designed to hit all three of those marks. All right, let's dive into Act 1, the build-up. Think of this as the story before the story. These are those tense, quiet moments where it feels like the atmosphere itself is just holding its breath. It is all about building that anticipation. And to create that feeling, the visual strategy is absolutely key. You're going to see a focus on tight, close-up shots of clouds just roiling and churning. The color palette? It's all about those deep, moody grays and dynamic shadows. It makes the whole environment feel alive, powerful. This isn't just weather we're watching. It's like a character getting ready to make its grand entrance. And what's at the heart of all this atmospheric drama? Well, it comes down to a fundamental scientific principle: electric charge. It's basically the invisible engine driving everything we're about to see. It's all this potential energy that's just quietly building and building right up to its breaking point. So how does this actually work? Well, you can think of it in three simple steps. First, inside those turning clouds, you've got ice crystals and water droplets bumping into each other. They're basically acting like tiny little batteries, separating out the positive and negative charges. Then, step two, this separation creates this immense electrical imbalance, a growing tension between the sky and the ground. And finally, the air itself just can't take it anymore. It starts to ionize, creating this kind of invisible superhighway for all that electricity that's about to be unleashed. Okay, so all of that pent-up energy, all that atmospheric tension, it has to go somewhere. And that, my friends, brings us to Act 2, the main event. This is it, the moment of connection, the climax of our entire story. And get this, this isn't just for cinematic flair. This is a scientific reality. For just a fraction of a second, the sky and the ground are literally, physically linked by a channel of pure energy. It is the ultimate payoff for all that buildup we've been watching. So how in the world do you capture something so immense? Well, you pull way back. You use a wide-angle lens. What this does is it kind of shrinks the landscape, making everything feel almost vulnerable under this vast electric sky. It's the perfect way to visually communicate the epic scope of what's happening. And this is where you get to see the hidden beauty of it all. I mean, a lightning strike happens way faster than our eyes can actually process. But by using slow motion, we can stretch that single millisecond out and turn it into a work of art. You suddenly see these intricate branching patterns. It's like a celestial river delta in the sky that you would totally miss otherwise. But to really get that awe-inspiring feeling, you gotta get up high. A drone flyover gives us that God's eye view. We're soaring above the clouds, looking down. And you stop seeing the storm as something happening to the landscape. Instead, you see it for what it is: a vast, powerful system moving across it. It completely changes your perspective. And of course, the color palette for this climax has to be just as dramatic. Those deep grays from the buildup, they're still there, but now they are just violently punctuated by these electric blues and brilliant flashes of gold. These colors are chosen for a reason: to feel vibrant, powerful, and honestly, almost supernatural. And then, after the flash, we enter Act 3, the aftermath. All that energy has been released, the tension is gone. So, what's left? Well, this final act is all about exploring the quiet yet profound consequences of the storm. You'll notice the visual focus shifts, and it shifts dramatically. Now we're seeing these rain-soaked landscapes, everything glistening and looking refreshed. The whole tone becomes much calmer, but there's still a touch of mystery,
It's hinting at that unseen energy that's still lingering in the air. The story really moves from a bang to a whisper here.
And this is where that educational piece of the mission really shines. That spectacular strike, it wasn't just for show. It's a critical part of our planet's global electric circuit. I mean, a single bolt is hotter than the surface of the sun. It literally pulls nitrogen out of the air, creating a natural fertilizer for plants. And yeah, it can also spark regenerative wildfires. It's just as much a creator as it is a destroyer.
So, when you follow this whole arc, from the gathering charge to that dazzling strike, and then its quiet impact, we finally arrive at the central message, the one big idea that ties this whole thing together. And there it is. That one phrase just says it all, doesn't it? The science, the beauty, the raw power, it's all part of a language that nature is constantly speaking. We just needed the right cinematic tools to help us tune in and understand. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. You know, if a thunderstorm has a narrative structure this rich, what else are we missing? What kind of stories are being told in the unfurling of a single leaf or the slow crawl of a glacier?